to that. Now he gets exceptionally whiny. Why are you being such a bitch? I'm literally trying to have a convo, that's it. And oh brother, I did have Facebook. You're insulting my game choices. Which is all he's been doing is just insulting what she plays. I don't know why he thinks it's just some like normal conversation. And he keeps calling her a dork like it's straight out of Ed, Edd n Eddy or something. I don't know what he was expecting. Because they're weak AF and you're being a cunt over nothing. Whatever. She really hasn't even been even close to mean. Not an iota of malice from her here. All she did was like defend her game choices and then joke about what he's playing being casual. Which it is. Fucking Rocket League, Madden, Battlefield. Like, what are you talking about? It's not like you're some kind of hardcore gamer playing some niche shit. You're playing the most mainstream games ever. Like, it's so silly. I don't know why he thinks that she's some supervillain that's just been doing nothing but belittling him. He started it, and she's not even doing anything mean. Does your mom know you talk to women like this? My mom won't around. Why, TF, you bringing that up? That checks out. You have zero respect for me or anyone. You're just a fat bitch who does nothing and leads people on. You're nothing. Fuck you, I was being nice. If this is him being nice, I am so curious to see what him being mean looks like. He immediately just breaks down into his fucking soiled diaper meltdown. You're a fat bitch! I keep using the wrong word. He never even accidentally gets the correct form of your in his statements. He's grinding my ass a little bit. But then he's like, you just lead people on. Well, how? How did she lead you on? By responding to you? Granted, this is probably the first woman that has ever responded to a text message from this guy, so maybe that's like where things got misconstrued. He thought that since she responded to his initial message, she must be interested. This is so baffling, it's making my voice crack. My vocal folds are freaking out. It's so odd that someone could have a rotted brain like this. No wonder you can't get a boyfriend, bitch. I don't settle for trash like your baby moms. You called me a liar, shit on my games, play even more trash games. At least they gettin' dick, unlike your fugly ass. You have no idea what you do. What does that mean? You have no idea what you do? I don't even understand what that statement's supposed to mean. Bet you have fucking herpes, you fat piece of shit. How many kids do you have custody of again, lol? How many of your boyfriends died? Which, I'm guessing these two must know each other through Facebook mutuals or something, so he must see, like, some of the stuff that she posts, because that sounds legitimately extremely personal, and if that is a real situation that one of her partners died, that is one of the most vile fucking things you can say to somebody, and this guy is an irredeemable, insufferable piece of shit. Wow, so this is what you do to get girls? Insult them? Again, I was playing, but you had to be a cunt. What do you mean you were playing? Your whole thing was just being aggressive from the start by just constantly spamming the word dork while insulting her playing Animal Crossing. She then continues to just take the piss. So she goes, okay, I'm sorry, I've been going through shit too. How are you at Rocket League anyway? And then immediately he just simmers down. He's back to like good boy status. I understand. I'm sorry too. Going caveman mode. I'm pretty good. I can show how to level up. What's your ranking? Platinum. So you're mediocre at best. I'm fucking Plat 2 and Diamond 2, and I'm trash. In Rocket League, Plat isn't very high. That's where the majority of players end up. So he's not good. He's not good at all. What's your gamer tag? Why?
It's time.
So it also seems like he's lying about this because no sensible person would brag about being Plat in Rocket League. So she's starting to catch him on a bluff where he's puffing out his chest and just lying about his Rocket League rank, which is even more pathetic. I want to see for myself. What console? What's the matter? You don't have an Xbox. I play on Switch. It's on all consoles. So he's starting to sweat a little bit like he's pressed against the wall. My gamer tag? Why? Why? Why do you want to know that? He tries desperately to turn this around into a situation where they can see each other, which sounds like it'd be downright dangerous to be around this guy. Why don't we hang and I can show you? What's your tag? I got trust issues. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, yeah, what is your gamer tag? It shouldn't be an issue, right? You're Plat in Rocket League. You're a big guy, a big man. What's the gamer tag? What do you mean you got trust issues? Again, ignoring that. I'm just curious. It seems like you're lying. I'm not. And then she drops a meme. It smells like bitch in here. Which is just genuinely a normal, silly meme. It's not even like mean. If anything, it's clearly meant to be like a joke. And for some reason, This sets him off in the biggest way yet. A fucking atomic bomb in his brain here, and he unleashes the Godzilla heat breath. Cunt. Fuck you, fat piece of shit. You have no idea who you mess with. Go die. Everyone at Dress hates you and thinks you're a slut. I thought differently, wanted to give you a chance. I thought you were a nice girl and want to be your friend. I'm sure this was the best way you could do it. By the way, I have a fresh meme. Taking care of my kids, lying to women about my Rocket League rank. So she's just dropping some memes on him at this point here, just adding insult to injury. To which he responds, just kill yourself already. He's trapped in 2009 Xbox Live Gamer Zone. He's really fucking struggling here, treading water. I can hear the tears in his eyes right now. Literally feel them through his sad texting. Forever hard stuck plat in Rocket League, and forever hard stuck being alone in life with an attitude like this. What an absolute curse. He just continues speaking like an anime villain. Fucking with me, you slut. Wait, can I not get dick, or am I a slut? Pointing out a contradiction because he keeps calling her slut and then also saying that she can't get cleaner. So he's all over the place. He's scrambled. Yeah, I bet you want it after this recording. Choke on a dick, whale. Just continues having a fucking conniption. Can't believe I wanted to build something with someone so dumb and nasty. And then again, she just responds with another meme. Like, what do you mean you wanted to build something with her? You reached out about feeling like you've been blocked and immediately started calling her a liar. What world are you living in? What fantasy land? What? You immediately start like calling her a liar and then insulting her choice of games and talking about how you're like a real alpha gamer, not like an Animal Cross gamer like she is. It's fascinating. This is what I mean. Like, it's actually intriguing how someone's mind could end up so poisoned. Like, it is hard for me to comprehend it. Like, I don't get it. He is so all over the place. Like, he starts by getting really mean and aggressive, insulting her games and all that, you know, then gets really personal, and then she's able to de-aggro him by talking about his Rocket League rank, which it calms him down, feeds him a warm bottle of milk. And then the second she drops a meme making a joke, again, he explodes once more. So it's just so peculiar. Anyway, everyone knows you're a slut, a little fat slut who uses people. Again, this comes out of fucking nowhere. She didn't use you. She didn't lead you on. She didn't do anything besides just respond to your initial unhinged messages. Couldn't get a boyfriend for years. That's because everyone. It just keeps going. Got too much time in your hands, but I bet your mouth is filled with someone's nasty dick. And she just goes, "Yep, not yours." If it were easy, that's the end of their exchange. I imagine she probably blocked him again, which is the safe thing to do. What a creepy lunatic, an actual fucking unsafe to be around individual. Like, this all happened over nothing. Actually nothing. Started because of not having access to some memes that he liked. Oh, painful. I had to share this one. I think this is now at the top of the food chain when it comes to like creepy people. Romantic text that I've been diving through. Santa Claus came early with the cream. His little helpers were cooking up something fierce, and, well, it got gifted under my tree a bit early today, and I wanted to share it with all of you. It's definitely different than normal things we've been covering when it comes to this romantic rabbit hole of tragedy. The worst text messages, the worst flirting, the worst dates. This player standing. The others. So, cozy on up with your favorite Christmas sweater, get under the mistletoe, and get ready to kiss your sanity goodbye, because this one is a real head-scratcher. For the first time in this goofy little series history, we're getting the perspective of a man talking to a woman here. Usually it's the other way around, where a woman has a really creepy encounter with a man and things go cattywampus, shit pops off, tits up, it's all over the place, it's a catastrophe. This time, we're going Freaky Friday mode, we're switching bodies here, so we're on the perspective of a man who has just matched with a woman from Tinder. They've been talking for a little while and it leads to this. I'm jealous, I want ribeye. I'm assuming they were talking about ribeye. I'm quite the detective, I know. I just have a hunch that that's what the conversation was about. She then continues, "Lol, I'm glad you liked that." To which he says, "I would happily cook for you. What's your favorite food?" "Oh, you will? I love baking, so maybe I'll bake you a cake or some bread, lol." I love steak, rare, medium rare. I love that idea. When can we make this happen? What a great start. I dare say these two are soulmates. This is wholesome, the exchange is going well. Looks like they're about to set up a date to cook together or bake together.
Last player
How could
standing.
it possibly go awry? Good vibes to me.
Spike
I'm not
planted.
sure. You haven't asked me on a proper date yet. It says, what are you up to tomorrow evening? This is already looking like something out of a Hallmark movie. This is super efficient, super, great all around. She says, I'm pretty sure my family is stopping by because my sister's in town, but I'm not completely sure. What about you? I see. I've got nothing tomorrow evening. I'd like to schedule said date with you, but I also need to maneuver around holiday busyness. Do you have availability 12/26? And she says, I'm off all next week. The 26th would be perfect, with 2 blushing, smiling emojis. And I'm just sitting here smiling, blushing, reading this story. Got me cheesing it so happy and wholesome. I also find it cute that in order to schedule the date, he conducted it like it was some kind of business meeting, penciling her in and like locking it down. And the whole thing is just adorable.
My ult is ready.
So how could it possibly end up in the shitter? What went wrong? Well, let's take a peek. Beautiful. It's a date. Would you be comfortable coming to my loft in blank and we can cook? I have a cat here too.
Last
She's
player
lovely.
standing.
She responds,
Spike
no,
planted.
I'm sorry. I don't do apartment dates.
Flawless.
That literally made me so disappointed that you said that as a suggestion. I'm going to cut this loose. I hope you have a good Christmas and good New Year. Wish you the best. To which he says, all good. That's a totally understandable position from the woman here. Not going to a stranger's apartment for the first date is probably the safest decision you can make, so there's nothing wrong with setting a hard line in the sand like, hey, I don't really go to people's apartments for the first time meeting them. That kind of decision probably keeps you alive. You might end up at like a fucking serial killer's place. You know, you go over there for medium rare steak, and you end up the steak. Turns out your Tinder date is Armin Meaves or something from Cannibal Cafe. So there's nothing wrong with her not wanting to go there for the first date. But she immediately jumps to being like, alright, we're done here. I'm so disappointed you even suggested it. Even though they were talking about cooking and baking together. It's not like he just pulled this out of his ass like a nefarious plot where he was rubbing his hands together and came up with this scheme. They were talking about cooking and baking together. How are you supposed to do that together outside of a household or an apartment or something? There's really no way to do that, so it should be pretty obvious why he suggested it. And he wasn't pressuring her into it. He even said, if you're comfortable, here's an option I think would be fun since we were talking about cooking and baking. He wasn't like poking her or trying to bribe her into coming over there and set a trap or anything. He was just putting the offer out there. So I feel like a less aggressive response from her would have been something more along the lines of, hey, politely I'd like to decline that. Don't feel comfortable going to your place
One
for
enemy
our first time
remaining.
meeting. And according to the comment section, he planned on offering an alternative because he understood why she wouldn't want to do that. But then things really start to pop off before he had the chance. So he says, I hope you have a great Christmas as well. To which she responds, Jdi du Perdelay Zatrat say. I'm 100% sure I butchered the pronunciation on that, but I popped it into Google Translate here, and it translates to go to hell, get lost. Zatrat say. I'm 100%. She responds, heavily mean. Try and get like another translation because that just sounded so incomprehensibly mean after all of this, but the other translation that I keep seeing for it is basically fuck you, which just doesn't make any sense to me because the guy was just following the conversation they were having. They were both saying like, yeah, let's cook together, and then she even suggested baking, like, yeah, let's bake together. So he's like, all right, bet, let's do it. I need a gun. Let's cook and bake together. And then she just goes, fuck you, scumbag, get lost. So he tries to like explain himself. He goes, for the record, it just seemed like a logical next step in the conversation because we were talking about cooking together. Sorry to offend or disappoint you. And she just goes, go fuck yourself, dude. This time, plain English. So that one I understood. And then he just says, very weird response in my opinion. And then she unleashes the demon here. She lets Hulkmania run wild. You know exactly why you fucking invited me to your loft. And it wasn't for cooking. Don't text me ever again, block. And then he just goes, we met on Tinder, remember?
Last player
In getting a
standing.
date. I'll be warning all 30,000 women in blank about you. Now you're blocked. And he's just like, well, actually, wiggling his finger, blank has a population of 6.47 million, about half of which would be women.
Let's win and get out of
Warning
here.
30,000 people about anything is an extremely tall order. You don't even get 30,000 people that heed hurricane warnings in Florida. If she's somehow able to send up the bat signal here to warn all 30,000 women in that immediate area about this guy, hats off to her. That's an incredible achievement, and she should use that power for good instead of evil. This guy didn't do anything wrong. He's clearly starting to take the piss here a little bit and just play around with it with that population remark. But I almost don't blame him because this is such an unbelievably hostile response to something that wasn't ever really meant in a disrespectful way, at least not from what I can see. She just immediately jumped to the conclusion that this guy is...
Spike down A. One enemy remaining.
He is inviting her over to his place just for theirs. There would be no steak being prepared. The only thing being steamed in that apartment would be ham. Steamed ham. I'm referring to them fucking. Like, that's such a stupid way of saying it. Mashing pissers. Whatever have you. So she just believed that this guy was some huge asshole and was only using cooking as some kind of Trojan horse to get her over, but his true intentions were for a little bedroom rodeo action and nothing more. When really, to me, it really seems like they were talking about cooking and baking together. They were both on the same page. So when the idea of a date came up, which she proposed, the logical conclusion you draw is, hey, we've been talking about cooking and baking together, let's do that for our date. Like, it doesn't really seem like there was any kind of malicious intent behind it. And he never really had a chance to offer an alternative because she immediately just shut the whole thing down, which he has every right to do. But it does seem like he wasn't trying to just be some douchebag or whatever. It seemed like he was just offering a date that they had been talking about as a mutual interest. I'm sure he probably would have offered an alternative since she was comfortable coming over to his place.
The hunt begins.
He continues to just get a little sarcastic about things. He goes, please
One
welcome
enemy
how
remaining.
Guys from Tinder invited you over to cook the day after Christmas. To which she says, dude, I'm in multiple groups totaling over 500,000. With your face, LMAO, you won't be getting no play unless you pay. Good riddance, Roach. Honestly starting to sound like the Navy SEALs copy pasta. I've got over 500 confirmed blocks, and I will have your face plastered in the papers for 500,000 people to see. I'm part of every goddamn Facebook group on the East Coast, and they'll all know your name, villain. He just says, lol, Roach.
I'm ready.
She continues, and I will! 2 exclamation points. It's like she's giving like a big speech in front of an auditorium. I'll let them know you tried to fucking invite me to your pathetic ass apartment for an easy lay masquerade as a cooking date. Yeah, we aren't stupid. Even your fucking hairline ran from you. Now sit back and enjoy being alone. And he just goes, I hope you find peace and
This
love.
is business.
Yeah, I mean, what else can you do except pray for happiness for her? Like, this went south so quick out of nowhere, and I don't think it needed to. You could have just said, like, not comfortable, are you open to anything else? And he tried to be pushy about it, like, no, you have to come to my apartment. All of this is a totally reasonable thing to say. Like, no, you clearly just want to fuck, get out of here, get lost, scram, Buster, you know, hit the road, take a hike. But she didn't even get that far. She immediately
Spike
just jumped to
planted.
this assumption that this guy is a piece of shit and he needs to go to hell and get lost. And now apparently she's going around putting up wanted posters like it's One Piece with a 5 billion berry bounty on this guy's head. All because he had the gall to invite her over for a cooking date that both
Last
of them
player
were
standing.
discussing together. I just don't really know how she'd even frame this as a bad guy to her 500,000 person group that she's a part of. I don't even know what group that would be. That's like a wildly large group to be a part of, and I can't imagine she has like a power position there where she can put out an APB on this guy or something. But even still, I don't really know how you could even spin this guy as a horrible person. But yeah, anyway, just wanted to cover this one. This one's different from the norm that we usually go over here, so that's really about it. So yeah, good morning everyone. I hope the holiday season has been kind to you. As we approach the new year, I wanted to bestow upon you some sage wisdom. As we get into 2024, I imagine many of you are going to choose a New Year's resolution to be more confident, and I just wanted to show you what it looks like when you go a little too hog wild and immediately blow it and pretty much fail the New Year's resolution before it even begins. This exchange is shared today. The two people here have met a few times and there was nothing odd about any of it.
100?
Now, out of the blue, this guy says, "Can I say something weird?" and then sends that face. When that
Spike
face
planted.
hits the text messages, you know shit is about to go downhill immediately. Nothing good ever comes from seeing that face. It's like Bloody Mary in the mirror. But she says, of course, with an exclamation point, almost excited to hear what weird thing he's about to explain. So he goes,
Last player
starts charging
standing.
up his Kamehameha here. He's about to drop a fucking nuclear bomb on this conversation and this friendship. So here it comes. Happy New Year. I
Last
just saw a
round
post
before the
celebrating
switch.
Fat Beauty,
User
and you
credits.
were the Fat Beauty
They're doing the
closest to
same.
the top of my contacts, and then drops this hot emoji here. So I just wanted to check in and say hi. And they say chivalry's dead. If that line doesn't get you laid, nothing will. Flirting has never looked so good. So how did she respond to this silver-tongued devil? Holy fucking hell. We'll just casually act like you didn't just say that. And he's dumb. Dumbfounded. He can't process what went wrong here. He goes, I understand how that was the wrong thing for me to say. Actually, I don't. Please explain how I can prevent making someone uncomfortable in the future. It's like an exit survey after customer service experience. What did you appreciate?
No
What did you not
distraction.
appreciate? How can we improve in the future? I have no doubt this was the last thing she was expecting after saying that she'd like to hear something weird. But anyway,
And that's
I'll
the
go ahead
end.
and break it down for you, brother, on where this bulletproof strategy
Spike
will
planted.
arrive.
One enemy remaining.
Another example, maybe, to help illustrate the point. Let's say there was someone I was talking to that I was somewhat romantically interested in,
Back to
and
the
I opened
dangerous
this
part.
conversation by saying, hey, so I just read this post about stupid bitches, so naturally I thought of you. How are you? It wouldn't exactly go over well now, would it? So you coming out of the blue, guns blazing, calling
Switching
her fat
sides.
is not exactly the compliment that you may have
must
thought
fall,
it was.
then
But
fall
anyway,
near me.
there is another series of text messages I wanted to talk about because it had me giggling this morning. There was an individual giving away 100 articles of clothing, and somebody wanted to come claim them. But things really took a turn for the worst. It starts innocent enough. Are the clothes available? To which they say yes, please God, take them. Very clearly wanting to get rid of all of these clothes. And then they ask for the location. After receiving the coordinates to the rendezvous, they ask, can you meet me in blank? So meeting at a different location that's a little closer to them. To which they understandably say, no, I'm not meeting for free stuff. And then say, I can give you $10 to brung them, okay? And they just say no again. It's an almost impossible sentence. I can give you $10 to brung them. It's like baby talk in text message format. It reminds me of the dialogue in the game Bug Snacks. Now, this
Last player standing.
really does not want to
Spike
drive
down
out of
A.
their way to deliver free stuff to this person, not even for $10, because that's a wild thing to be. They're giving away the free stuff. If you want it should be on you to come get it. Like, it's not their responsibility to drive an hour out of their way to deliver it to this stranger. Jesus, thanks.
only brought
Keep
enough
them
for
then.
me.
I have a newborn Jesus, which is a huge statement to make. We've got Jesus Christ coming back for round 3, I guess, because she just gave birth to him. I don't have time to waste it. Do you want them gone or not? I don't know why she's trying to flip this around and haggle with this individual who's trying to give away the free clothing. Like, obviously, they want them gone, but they're not going to drive an hour out of their way to get rid of them. It's not that big of a deal. Whoever wants them can come get them, and if no one comes and gets them, I'm sure they would have no problem just donating them to, like, Goodwill or something. This lady has no leverage in this negotiation here whatsoever. So you want them gone or not? Your only option is to bring them an hour over here to me. Like, no, clearly, that's not the only choice to be making
Spike
here.
down
That's the bad
A.
thing. That's like the stupid ending. If you do that, you have done a big blunder. They say I do, but I'm not driving
Last
an hour
player
round trip.
standing.
If you want them, you'll get them. If not, someone else will. The brass tacks, the cold hard facts, the cold water. That is the truth right there. If you want them, come get them. If you don't, someone else will. They then ask for the address and then say, it's not that far from blank, and blank is 10 to 15 minutes from blank. Everything's redacted here like a CIA document, so it's a little hard to keep up with. But they're still trying to find a way for them to bring the clothes closer to them so it's more convenient for them to pick up the free shit. They say, I live closer to blank, so 50 minutes, so yeah, you could meet me to blank. That would help us both. Thanks if you would be nice. And they just, again, say no. This sets her off, and she goes, bitch, have
30
a good
seconds
day.
left.
I have kids, me and I live further than you, and I was ready to pay, have a good day. To which they say, I have kids too, doesn't make you special. I ask because everything expensive, I would drive down me for someone, obviously English people are actually asshole. Anyway, I wouldn't be like you me, I would do halfway for
10
someone
seconds
that's
left.
need it. Obviously you have money, so you don't give a shit apka about any but yourself. You were rude. that's also what I didn't like. Instead of figuring something out for both of us as well, so you're mama person, not me? I'm not sure what that word is because it's blocked by the arrow. One of the most difficult to read statements I've ever read since trying to read Finnegan's Wake. I recognize English may not be her first language here, but goodness gracious, that was a lot to try and get a grasp on here. So I believe what she's trying to say is that if the roles were reversed and she was the one giving away free clothes, she would have no problem driving an hour out of her way to give them to someone. Which is a load of dirty barnacles. What a fucking load of fish paste. What are you talking about? You won't even drive over here and get the free clothes that she's offering. You're making a big stink about it. So how the fuck am I supposed to believe that you would drive an hour out of your way to bring someone else free clothes when you won't even go here to get them without making a huge deal out of trying to get her to come to you instead? What a ridiculous statement. What an outright fucking lie. You're telling a fib, and liars will go to hell because it's a sin. She also wasn't rude, by the way. She's giving away free clothes and you're trying to take advantage of her kindness and try and push her to do even more for you, for your own convenience. You are the rude asshole, not the person giving away the free clothes. I know things are expensive, that's why I'm giving these away, but I'm not spending time to meet someone just to give them away. Like, would you? I would have paid with the only little money I have, so thanks. Yes, I would. Thanks. Go to church.
Last player
What are you
standing.
talking about? She's not asking for money and she doesn't need you to go her $10 to brung them. Like that. Just go get the clothes. She is already giving these things away for free. Just go get them instead of trying and shame her for not driving an hour out of her way for a fucking stranger who's too lazy to go do it herself. Like, that is entirely a you problem, not her. And I don't know why you're trying to tell her to go to church. Why don't you go to church? Plant your ass in one of the pews and pray for forgiveness for one of the 7 deadly sins of sloth. Because you're so fucking lazy that you won't go do the bare minimum and instead start being an asshole to this person who's just giving away free clothes. The conversation concludes with, I definitely do not have money. What an assumption. Go to hell. And she goes, great. Exactly. Shouldn't say that word. What are you talking about? You literally called her a bitch like 3 messages ago. What, saying bitch is okay but not hell? H-E-W is too far? What is going on? How can you be such a miserable piece of shit? Like, this person is already giving away free clothes. And instead of just going to get them and saying thank you, you try and shame them into driving an hour out of their way for your own convenience. How can you be so selfish? The entitlement here is absolutely incomprehensible. I just had to talk about it. This one had me giggling, but also fuming a little bit. Just trying to understand how people like this exist. This is free items that you are making a huge
Last player
because
standing.
they won't drive an hour out of the way for you for it. Like, it's so crazy to me. But anyway, yeah, I just want to talk about these a little bit. That's it. So yeah, the specimen I'm about to expose you to is extraordinarily cringe. Like this SCP weirdo that I'm about to unleash before your eyes. But I want you to take this as an inspirational motivator because somehow this goober was able to get into a serious relationship for the last 7 months. And if he can do it, anybody can. Alright, now let's begin our journey. This is a 26-year-old woman communicating with her 29-year-old boyfriend. Now, the previous night they had an argument, which we'll get into in a moment because it's crucial to the lore here of what unfolds. Now, this is the next day. He says, had some honey chicken with rice and broccoli from blank. How about you? He responds with a Naruto gif, which is already an incredible start here, and goes, that sounds good. I had a muffin and cheese lol, by the way. The call yesterday really sucked, but the New Year's Eve call was very nice. He says, I know lol. And then for some reason he decides to pour salt in the wound. He just digs the knife a little deeper, letting her know that it was probably the worst call he's had, lol. To which she responds, alrighty. Well, that makes me feel great. I'm heading to bed. Love you, good night. For some reason he thought it was a good idea just to remind her how much he disliked
Last player
last night
standing.
about what they were discussing. Oh man, that call last night, that was the pits. Jesus Christ, am I right? You fucking heartbeat.
One enemy remaining.
The New Year's Eve call was a little bit better, but goodness gracious. Heavens to Betsy, the call before that, fucking atrocious. And then he'll probably drop another Naruto gift. This time it's like an Itachi one casting a Genjutsu. Don't ever do it again. But anyway, the argument they had on the call before these
Hey,
text
quiet
messages
one.
was about her mentioning that
Can
she
talk
might
for
want
one?
to try shrooms at some point.
My ultimate
It was
is-
basically talking about drugs and how she's not interested in drugs, but the only one she has even an iota of interest in trying is shrooms, like one time. And he took a very hard stance against that. Like it was like he was a fucking DEA agent here. I'll drop the information right here if you want to pause and read it, but the gist of it is, she mentioned that shrooms at least sounded somewhat interesting to try. At some point, though, she was never really being serious about it, and if she ever did want to try it, she said that she would talk to them about it first before doing anything. It wasn't no distraction. She said, "You're right, I'm wrong, sorry," and tried to move on from the whole conversation. But it looks like that weighed heavy on the mind of the boyfriend who picked it up out of
Contract
the blue.
Spike
Just
down.
to remind her what the conversation was. In the
Flank,
follow-up
flank,
message, he
flank.
decides to just go whole hog and let it all hang out.
One enemy remaining.
Reignite this argument. He says,
Last
yes, I say
player
wrong stuff to you
standing.
sometimes. I know I make mistakes, but not this time. I stand by what I said yesterday, and this time
Defenders
you were in the
win.
wrong. But I'm heading to bed. I love you. Good night.
BBM.
Reminds him, like, hey, we fully discussed this last night. There was no reason to bring it up again except to attempt to make me feel bad. Just because you're in a bad mood doesn't mean you should try to bring me down with you. She's 100% right. They had already discussed it. There is no reason to keep doing this again, this song and dance. Just let it be. But he just can't do that. I know, but this is serious shit. And then he censors the word shit. He puts stars on his swear word like he's a 12-year-old in Twitch chat that has the language filter on. This is a 29-year-old man who is censoring the word shit. And we've only just begun with the exceptionally wacky stylings of this 29-year-old fucking goober. If you use any substitute, I am done with you. And I'm sorry I say this because I care about you too much, and you're much worth more. And you're much worth more. I don't, that's all over the place. I think he was just so angry. I mean, he dropped the word shit. You could tell his temper was flaring up. He used a naughty word. So I think he was just scrambling to say words in a panic. And then she just goes, I'm not talking about this. It's fine if you don't have the mouth of a sailor, but why censor it? Just don't even use the word. You could have said poop. This is some serious poop, milady. You're talking about drugs. Unacceptable. Why even bother censoring yourself? Oh, it's so cringe. And we've only just begun. She says there's no reason to go over this again. We talked about it. It's over. Drop it. Really just trying her best to move on from this because it's only going to get worse. But he's already too deep. He's already made his bed and it's time to piss his pants in it. Okay, but promised me you won't do it and I will drop the whole thing. She again reminds him, I already fucking told you I wouldn't do anything without talking to you first. Leave it alone. I'm done with this conversation. But it's just not registering in his mind. His neurons are just firing and he's going into flight or fight mode and he's fighting his own demons here. Don't get angry at me just because you had a drug problem in past. That's not my problem. That's your problem. Which is a crazy fucking thing to say to your significant other. Jesus. And she goes, bro, you're being dense right now. Just shut up and leave it alone. This isn't a conversation to be had over text, and we already talked about it on the phone. Just drop it, dude. Now, if you pause to read the explanation for the context around these messages, you'll know that the drug problem he's referring to is her smoking weed when she was 19, and the one time she tried cocaine. That's the drug problem to this guy. He speaks as if he's like a 14-year-old boy who just had a class on
Match
Dare,
found.
and now he is scared. He can't sleep anymore. He has to go to bed with one eye open and Narcan on the dresser next to him, just in case a burglar comes in and tries to force him to OD on drugs. Like drugs are out to get him and everyone he cares about. And he just keeps spiraling. You have to change that blank. He's literally beeping himself with a sensor. You have to change that beep, stupid attitude. And I'm not your beep, bro. And I'm not your beep, dude. Maybe that's why wow, that's hard to read. The grammatical catastrophe that he's unleashed upon my eyes is really fucking with my brain. I'm not your beep, dude. Maybe that's what you're call your beep friends. I don't give a beep. I'm not your beep friend. I'm not your beep. X is beep. Remember that. Like, what in the world is happening? This is the most childish text message I've ever seen in my life. It's like a kid melting down on League of Legends. This is a 29-year-old man. And he's speaking like this. He's a fucking boy. He's a baby boy. Why is he censoring his texts like this? Oh, it's so awful. It's so bad. I can't even parse what he's trying to say with his last statement there at the end. I'm not your fucking friend, which is, again, a wild thing to say to your significant other. You're supposed to be their best friend, basically. That's the whole point of being in the relationship, but whatever. But this is where it gets extraordinarily confusing. And I'm not your fucking ex's blank. Remember that. Your ex's what? Your ex's fuck? Remember that? Is that what he's saying? I don't know. What does that mean? And she says, I don't know what your problem is, but directing at me is not going to help. I'm not talking about this. I'm done responding for the night. Have a good one. And he just goes, we done. If you keep going. So full-blown caveman mode now. I will drop it now. Anyway, how's your day? From all of this into like immediately de-aggroing like an NPC in a video game, and he's like, oh, so how's your day? Did you have a good day today? I bet you did. I bet it's better now that you're talking to me, right? And then her response is, it was better before you started this. And then that once again sends him off. Well, that's your problem. I just don't want to crackhead girlfriend, and please don't call me bro. I'm not your stupid friends. What the crackhead girlfriend? What are you talking about? She mentioned that the only drug she'd be interested in trying is shrooms, and she wouldn't even actually do it because she doesn't have a real interest. That's just the only one that even sounded somewhat appealing. He's lost his marbles. He's off his gourd for this. Eventually she's like, just go to bed. You need a nap. You're not you when you're tired. And then he hits her with like a threat. It'll be really funny when you're 6 feet under. And she goes, oh boy, here we go again. And he says, anyway, enough of this. Now, I think he's referring to, you know, if you try drugs, you're dead instantly. You will instantly die if a drug touches your body. It'll put you 6 feet under instantaneously. Like, I don't know if he's actually threatening that he'll put her 6 feet under, but that is kind of how it reads. But I think what he's trying to say is that the drugs are gonna kill her, and he's the only one that can save her from going down this destructive path. Now, obviously, and here's a hot take, drugs aren't good for you. But what he's doing here is an outrageous overreaction, and the way he's treating his girlfriend is unacceptable. He's just yelling and screaming at her like it's an episode of fucking Scared Straight.
Planted.
All over her, going over a hypothetical of if she was to ever try a drug, she'd want it to be shrooms because that's the only one that sounds even somewhat interesting. But she doesn't even want to do it. She's not saying she's going to go do shrooms or anything like that. She's not going down this path to being a crackhead like he thinks she is. This is
last player standing.
The way he's treating her over this. And don't even get me started on his potty mouth. All those nasty words he's been using here. But luckily for all of us, he's tastefully censored all of them for us. Clearly don't respect me. You think I'm a joke when I'm saying the truth. I wish just once you'd just listen to me. I think you're a joke, buddy. I'll say it. She won't, but I will. I think you are fucking cringe incarnate. She says, I'm listening. I'm just tired of you repeating it over and over when this whole thing was finished last night. Of course I don't want to hear it again. I dropped it. You should too. Leave it alone. And then he tries to play the saint again, like he's just looking out for her, and it's all for her benefit. He's the angel. You know I say this because you are very important to me. Maybe no one tells you this, but I'm the first to tell you. And I always stick with my words. That's what I have to say. And I'm sorry if you hurt, but I had to say it. What a fucking hero. There's better ways of saying it. And apparently you'd already had this conversation the night before. And everything was settled then, but you just keep going. And she said, you didn't have to say it, lol, but okay, whatever makes you feel good. And now the demon comes back out again.
Last player standing.
Beep attitude. I'm telling you, if you keep doing this, I'm trying to be understanding, but you give me beep disrespect. Answer, I'm done with you. Fuck off. This mumbo jumbo nonsense. Like, it's the episode of SpongeBob with the sailor words, basically, and he's censoring it in the text. It's, it's so awful. And she goes, just remember you brought this up, you started, I told you I wasn't talking about it anymore, but you're pushing it, I don't know what else to tell you. She is trying so hard just to move on from this, like just give it up, just stop. Why does he keep going? Just stop. And then he drops another extremely mean, nasty insult, saying, no wonder your friend left you and your exes left you. What a huge piece of shit, just a horrible thing to say to anyone, let alone the person you are dating. And then she just goes, ouch, yeah, fuck you. And then he comes back with another confusing head scratcher. I was ready to drop it, but you keep fuck give me bitch. Just stop now. What am I reading? What is that sentence? Oh man, yo brother, this guy stinks. And then he's like, ooh, that wasn't nice and I'm sorry. So he has an immediate change of heart in 2 minutes. And then he's like, he goes full apology mode here to try and save this, even though it's unsalvageable. This is where the relationship should end 100%. He goes, I'm sorry for being an beep. I should have never said that. That was my fault. I really apologize. And thankfully she shoots that garbage
One
down.
enemy
I really don't
remaining.
want to hear from you. Good night. And then he tries again to go really sweet talking, like, oh no, it's all misunderstanding. Baby, I'm really sorry. That part I said, I didn't mean it. I'm really sorry. Anyway, baby, I'm so sorry. I should have thought more about your feelings, and at that time I wasn't thinking in that part I said was really not nice, but I love you. So he signs off with yet another completely incomprehensible, dumb, stupid text. But at least there was no censoring in the last part. He didn't use any foul language that needed to be, you know, censored, because he's a classy guy. He wouldn't want any of those yucky words being uncensored in these texts. But yeah, as far as I can tell, she is planning on leaving him, according to the comments, I think. She said she's not going to give him another chance to show this side of him, which is good, because this relationship should continue past this point. That right there is a bosh on it, she said about it. She didn't do anything wrong. She's just talking about hypothetical. If you could try a drug again, it would be shrooms, because it's the only one that seems even somewhat.
One enemy
She
remaining.
even said multiple times she didn't want to, and she wasn't planning on it anytime.
Ready.
And this guy just had this crazy overreaction
I
to
can't
it.
see your guy.
So yeah, huge weirdo, big cringe guy. That's about it. So yeah.
Keep your focus.
Hello and welcome back to Weirdos in the Wild. The best way to start your morning is with a big frown on your face, so get ready to wear that with pride. We've got some really interesting specimen here today, so let's go ahead and take a peek at our first one. Our first journey begins with a cold call here like a telemarketer. This guy reaches out saying, hey, remember me? And get used to seeing me spelled
push him
that
out.
way, because he only speaks about himself as if he's talking through the We Me channel from back in the day. And she responds by saying, hey, I think so, from blank, which is middle school. So they knew each other in middle school, and I'm assuming it's been quite some time since then, because then a couple months later he reaches out again saying, hey, you have kids yet? It's already off to an odd start. They're clearly into their adult years here, and this guy's thinking about her from middle school, and then reaches out a couple months after making initial contact just to ask if
Spike
she has
planted.
kids currently. And it only gets more strange from here.
Last player
Hey,
standing.
I don't have kids yet, why you ask? He goes, just asking, you have a boyfriend? I do have a boyfriend. You have a girlfriend?
New fight,
Can I tell
new
you
tactics,
something?
keep it fresh, yeah?
And that's how you know this is about to go straight into the shitter here. That question, can I tell you something, always seems to precede the most foul thing you'll ever hear in your life. I've read so many of these texts and watched so many bad romance videos recently that this is one of the more concerning questions you could be asked. Can I tell you something? Or some variation of it. I'll also just never understand the purpose of typing something like that. Just
You want
fucking
to
spit
play?
it out.
Let's
Say it
play.
like the whole chest here. What's the point in acting like some kind of shy anime girl? Oh, can I tell you something? Like, what's the response going to be to that? No? You've made it impossible for someone to shoot that down, because then the conversation immediately gets hostile. So everyone has to say, like, yeah, I guess you can tell me
Spike
something.
down
So
A.
just do it. Rip the band-aid off. You're gonna say something ridiculous anyway. Just say it without asking for
Reloading.
permission, because we all know you're just going to fucking blabber about it anyway.
Opponent's killed.
She says,
My
yeah,
ultimate
what's
is
up?
ready.
However, even if she declined saying, no, you
One
can't tell
enemy
me anything,
remaining.
leave me alone, bozo, it wouldn't have stopped this maniac. He goes, no grill frimmed. So I believe he has entered this, like,
That's it,
flood state of horniness, and it's clouding his vision, so he can't type properly. When we was in middle school, I wanted, period, to do this to you. And accidentally drops like a fucking hyperlink here. Do what? Like, when you were in skirt, I want to make you mine. Hope you don't get mad. What an outrageous creep. Hey, was just thinking about you in middle school. and how in middle school I wanted to make you mine. Don't get mad at me, tee-hee. Clearly caught off guard and uncomfortable, she goes, oh, it was a long time ago, no reason to get mad. And I think this emboldens him because she says, there's no reason to get mad. So he starts rubbing his hands together. Oh, okay. And then listen to that.
Spike down, B.
There's something so bad there that even this shameless
your
sack
trail.
of cringe was like, ooh, no, that's too far. I'm using my mullet. So
One
uncensored.
enemy remaining.
But the original poster here, she apparently
Careful
saw it
now.
and said that the message he unsent was saying that he wanted to pull down her panties and put his fingers inside of her. And then he goes, if I were to
Last
do
player
this to
standing.
you, what, you let me? The way he talks is so frustrating. It's so broken and disjointed. It's like communicating with Dobby if Dobby was hitting whippets. Clearly, she declined such a generous offer, saying, no, I have a boyfriend. I mean, back in middle school, I wasn't interested in dating or sexual
my stuff
activity
has
when I was in
malfunctioned
middle
yet.
school. I wanted you really bad. Oh, okay. Gets him with the Eeyore really sad. Oh, okay. This is the craziest red flag conversation ever. This should be like a self-report straight to the authorities. This man is like dangerous, it seems. Perhaps that hyperlink he accidentally dropped in the beginning was a link to the sex offenders registry with his name and face on it. This is an adult man who's fantasizing about middle school. He's not even saying like, hey, I used to know you back then and had a crush on you. He is literally fantasizing about her in middle school and him wanting to finger her. That's concerning. And that's when all hell breaks loose. The mask fully comes off, the dam breaks, and he unleashes the demon. She says, I'm confused as to why you're telling me this now, because obviously anyone would be confused getting this shit out of the blue. It's really creepy. And then he goes, cuz dear.
Your duty
It's already
is
such
not
an
over.
awful fucking start. Dropping a deer like this.
Here.
Spike
It
down,
gives me
mid.
the heebie-jeebies. In those days, I want to pull down your...
One enemy
Not
remaining.
even a little bit, dear. Or excuse me, not even a little bite, dear. You there, lol? Can I ask you a personal question? When you were in middle school, you there? He is so fixated on middle school in particular. That's the big thing for him here. And he keeps talking about pulling her panties down. It's so
Last player
unhinged.
standing.
You there? He keeps checking to make sure there's a pulse here, that she hasn't abandoned him and called the police or something. Can I tell you something? That I want
30
to
seconds
do
left.
to you in
Spike
middle
planted.
school? Or you mad at me, Lou? Lol. If you didn't have a boyfriend, you let me do things to you? You there? Surprisingly, she was still there and hadn't blocked him yet. So she says, no, because I'm not interested, I don't really know you at all. Somehow, she was able to resist his charm. I can't believe Casanova's silver tongue here was powerless against her. He says, I know, lol. Also, it's a bit weird that you're talking about a 12 to 13-year-old me and still being sexual about it. Exactly. It's so fucking weird. And then he just goes,
My knees are
hope
gonna
you not
kill
mad
after
this.
at me for this things. And she says, please don't contact me again. The vibe I get from this guy is Freaky Fred from Courage the Cowardly Dog. Just reading what he keeps saying to her is so unnerving because he's talking about a middle school version of her. He's trying out that sexual predator riz here, I guess, and it did not work at all. I'm gonna bless you with a little bonus one here. Let me show you how not to flirt with someone you're interested in romantically. So it seems like they were talking a little bit before these screenshots were taken. He says, you play video games? Like, other than Candy Crush and Pokemon. And she goes, "What do you play?" Cool. Not many chicks that are, like, into real games.
Spike down,
Just a
mid.
classic
One enemy
Predator
remaining.
gamer, bro.
That's the
Ugh,
lot of them.
girls only like Candy Crush or Pokemon, fucking Sims or Barbie
keep it
Jeep
going.
Racing. They don't like real games like me, a fucking man. Call of Duty, Battlefield, BioShock, big rigs over the road racing, Madden 24. But you're different, m'lady. You're not one of those normal chicks that likes those fake games. You can appreciate
They
these
should stop trying.
gems that I like. Most chicks can't do that. I don't know why. Must be periods and pheromones or something, but
You are rare, milady. You like real games. I just don't know why anyone would try something like this. It's just immediately confrontational. It makes you look like a whack loser. And everyone knows it too, so she calls that out saying, really? Gonna try that one? Because it's so pathetic. And he goes, what? It was a compliment.
Spike
She
planted.
says, whatever. And then that really sets him off. So, a guy who you are already desired to be intimate
One
with,
enemy
he gives
remaining.
you a compliment, you get bitchy, and then he doesn't get a response, obviously. Prepare for hellfire! And then it comes back and saying, are you ignoring me? She said, you live in a different country. But the fact that he immediately just gets this out of control, like, what? It was a compliment, what? Most girls are stupid. Girls go to Jupiter to get more stupider. You didn't go to Jupiter. You stayed here with me, playing real
What will
games.
it do this
Why are you
time?
getting so
Have any
bitchy
patterns
about it?
emerged
I
yet?
was being nice to you. Oh my goodness, nice guys never win. And now you're ignoring me? Oh God. He also just types like a Redditor, like his response being, why? A guy who you already desired to be intimate with shows you a little affection and gives you a little compliment and you get bitchy? Like, that is the actual quintessential
Don't hold back.
Redditor response right there. Just go full Poindexter on it. A man who
You
had
want to
already
play?
desired
Let's
to be
play.
Then the whole conversation goes cattywampus and he decides to bring out the claws and just get mean. You're a fucking cosplay girl. It's not like it's real work. You get paid to be hot for people. And then she just goes, yeah, it's not gonna work. Don't text me back. Goodbye. Totally reasonable. These guys just
My ultimate
immediately
ready.
shitting on her. For nothing she did wrong. She's done nothing wrong at all. This guy's just a loose cannon.
Spike planted.
Women like you are always so sensitive. I'm just being honest about things. If you can't handle that, I don't think you intellectually compatible with me.
Come on, let's go!
All the Reddit check marks are being ticked right now.
Going up.
I'm very sorry that you feel like I was
I've
being
got your
evil or
trail.
sexist, but I wasn't. I hope you learn to be less bitchy. Men don't like that in women. And you're already past your good years. And they say chivalry is dead. That's how you do it, gentlemen. Excellent work here, and I have no doubt they're getting married soon. So he
One
for
enemy
everything
remaining.
that went wrong.
Last
Seems to
player
think
standing.
he was being unreasonable and that he was just
I will
being
not
honest,
die here.
which is crazy.
We
It's
cannot
so
let
sad
them
how a
unweave
conversation
our
go from
world.
seemingly normal to just being extremely combative because this guy is very insecure, I
Last
guess,
round
about
in
his video
the
game
half.
taste or something. I have no idea. But he brings up video games in a hostile manner, saying like, "Oh, most girls don't play real games, but I guess you're not like most stupid girls." Like, I don't know why he can't see how no one would ever respond positively to that. And when she didn't respond positively to it, he immediately says that she's being bitchy. Just the slightest sign of her not really feeling what you just said there, and he just gets aggressive, and then gets even more mean and rude and nasty, and then still probably walks away from
Get out
it
of my
because
way.
it's her fault. It's craziness. So he'll probably stay alone for most of his life, but luckily he's got so many great games to play by himself. So there's a silver lining there. At least he's a real gamer with those real games by his side. That's really about it. Yeah. Over the last couple of months, I've analyzed more text messages than the FBI.
Last player
I've
standing.
been glued to bad romance and flirting like a moth to a flame. I've been wandering the
Spike
deepest, darkest
planted.
pits of filth. It's like in Space Jam when Michael Jordan gets sucked into the golfing hole. I've been sucked into the asshole of the internet, and all I see is cringe down here. But today, there's a new ingredient being added to this concoction. The recipe had a chemical X. Crime. This got posted to Reddit earlier today, and a lot of people sent it my way, and it actually reminded me of a real criminal case that happened back in 2022, and I actually found the case again through the comment section of this post, because I couldn't quite recall all the particulars of it, but there is a lot of similarity shared between that criminal case in 2022 and these text messages that this individual is showcasing here. So it starts with this girl's coworker messaging
Switching
her out of the
sides.
blue saying, "Hey." He receives crickets.
Bye,
No
stuff,
response.
ka-ching,
Silence.
los grrr,
And you
dum-dum.
know what they
Yeah?
say? If at first you don't succeed, try being weirder. So he comes back around within 3 hours saying, "Hello? Is this blank?" She says, "Who is this?" And he goes, It's me," with a smiley face. "I just wanted to text you and see how things were." "Oh, things are going alright, I suppose. Not to come off as rude, but how did you get my number, dude? I mean, I don't mind you texting me, but I've never gave it to you." And that's when he lifts up the curtain and breaks the magician's code, revealing his secret method. I just grabbed it off the contact sheet in the office room. Hope that's alright. To which she says nothing in response because that is fucking creepy. She never gave him her number. He just went out of his way to find it from their workplace.
Trained you.
Yucky. But he comes back around saying, "How's it going?" And he just keeps going, throwing questions at the wind here, hoping to receive even the slightest semblance of life on the other side, not realizing that he has already scared her by snooping around, tracking down her phone number without ever getting it from her directly. So it's already
Last player standing.
So he says, "How was your
Spike
New Year's?"
down
No
A.
response. 2 days later. "Sorry to keep texting, but what are you up to today? If you're free later, I'd love to go out." I will never understand that kind of shit right there. How can you be so deluded and lost in your own little fantasy land Narnia that
Okay,
you
I
think
only
there's
have,
even
like,
an iota
78
of a
grenades
chance
left.
that she agrees
Hopefully
to go
that's
out with
enough.
you when she has ignored your messages for 4 fucking days? Like, what is the thought process? Scratching at his chin. Maybe she's playing hard to get. Perhaps she's just been truly swamped and has been really wanting to reply to me, but just might be a bit shy and doesn't know how. I know. I'll go ahead and invite her out. That should make her a lot more comfortable. And he goes a bit deeper. "I know you're probably busy, but I could pick you up too,
Enemy spotted
so
B.
you wouldn't have to take the bus anywhere. If you wanted to go out, that is. Sorry to keep texting, but I don't want to be out too late, so I'd appreciate a response at some point, Smiley.
Going up.
I'm heading out to get coffee now, so if you want to join me, just let me know. Ma'am, you better hurry. The choo-choo train is leaving, and Mr. Perfect is going with it. You only have one opportunity to get coffee with a gentle sir like this, so you really gotta play your cards right. She declines, saying, "I would appreciate it if you didn't text me unless it's work-related. I don't really know you, and I'm only blank. You're 5 years older than me. It's just creepy." I didn't mean to be creepy or anything. You're just pretty.
One
It's
enemy
cool
remaining.
if you got
Last
to hang
player
out.
standing.
No thanks.
Tragic
That's
life.
honestly so weird. And if you continue to ask, I'm going to talk to Lean about this. I'm assuming that's like
Remember
their
to talk to each other
supervisor
out there.
or
Weapon here.
someone
We
higher up at the
communicate,
place they work.
Win.
And then he goes in deep. He says, "I'm not gonna lie. I've been thinking about you a lot, and I just want you to spend time with me. What you said the other day just felt rude. At least try and give this a chance. I know you're probably not awake, but I've been up all night thinking about you. Not going to lie, sometimes I like to take pictures of your ass while you're in the drive-thru window and I jerk off to them in the bathroom." I'll go ahead and take a courtesy pause here to give everyone a brief respite and let that nugget marinate in this sauce here because he just dropped a real heavy, spicy meatball on the plate. And when I first read it, I certainly wasn't ready for that because that's just openly admitting to a crime. I'm not a sheriff or anything, but I'm pretty confident that that's illegal. He'd probably be taken away in handcuffs if this information got out, which it should. She should absolutely report all of this. Now, somehow it actually only gets worse from here.
Got hit.
This is just the beginning. He's showing his true face, and man oh man, is it an extraordinarily ugly one. I know that's messed up, but imagine if we fucked in the work bathroom, or if we went out in public. I honestly just love the idea of having a little helpless bitch under my control.
Going up.
I know you're so much younger, but you should give it a shot. Older men can be so much fun to be with. No one has worked with
Message sent.
Hello? Sorry for calling, but I'm really lonely and you haven't replied to me at all. Since the text messages are going unanswered, I guess he's resorted to actually just calling her, which is also being ignored.
30 seconds left.
Obviously, because that's the safest thing you can do. is
One
ignore it.
enemy remaining.
I can't believe the revelation that it turns out he's lonely. Who would have seen that coming? With smooth talking like this dude's got all the game in the world. This man's a fucking apex predator, a grizzly bear. A champion of Riz here. I can't believe that he, of all people, would somehow be lonely. What a curveball. He then tries to brush all that under the
get a
rug,
drop?
trying to apologize for it. Sorry about last night. I got carried away. I know you're probably not even reading these, but I hope you have a good day, Smiley. I'll be thinking of you. I really don't see an issue. It's not like a romantic date or anything. It would just be getting coffee and food. And if you were in the mood, we could always go to my place to watch a movie. I know it sounds creepy, but why not just get out and enjoy the day together? What in the hell is even that? What are you
Launching
talking
smoke.
about? It's not like a
Begins.
romantic thing or
Beacon
anything.
here.
You were just talking about fucking in the workplace bathroom. And then you were talking about having a
Careful
helpless
now.
bitch under your control. What do you mean it's just coffee? You're already showing how extraordinarily creepy and perverse you are. What are you yapping about? He's blabbermouthing about a bunch of hooey. And that's when she finally does respond to all this and says, "Alright man, I'm probably going to report you.
Last
You know
player
damn well that
standing.
I'm underage and you're texting me in the middle of the night like that. Fuck off." And then he drops her address and says, "If you continue to ignore me, I'll just make it so you can't. If you tell anyone, I'll make this even worse for you." So it turns out she's underage, and he was well aware of that fact. And he also would have been even more aware of that fact, considering he snooped through the confidential
Prepare
workplace
yourselves.
documents to find
We
her
fight
address
once again.
and her phone number. So it would have been abundantly clear that she is underage, and he didn't care. He still went for this full throttle. So he's also a pedophile on top of all of this. Now he concludes their conversation by dropping her address to obviously try and scare her, letting her know that he knows where she lives and he can always pay her a visit. And a lot of people in the comments, and I think a lot of people in general, would assume that that's just supposed to be like some kind of scare tactic to get her to not say anything. Not necessarily that he's going over there right this instant to do something, but that is still a legitimate threat, and I imagine an actionable threat that the authorities can use. This is one of those situations that really shouldn't be taken lightly, and it seems like it isn't. It seems like she's taken the proper measures here, like contacting authorities or contacting workplace staff and all that, which is what she should be doing, because this is just
Spike down,
legitimately
B.
a case. I mentioned at the start that it reminds me of a case
Reloading.
from 2022, where a man killed his 17-year-old co-worker because he had a huge crush on her, and since he couldn't have her, nobody could. Her name was Riley Whitelaw, and she was murdered at her place of work by this individual. He recently got sentenced in October of 2023 for the murder, and it is just horrifying. Now, Riley had
Last
previously
player
made a
standing.
complaint to the employment about how uncomfortable he made her, like the advances that he would make on her and all of that, and even asked to like have her schedule changed so they wouldn't have to work together. And despite all of that, they still worked together. The place of employment did not change her schedule around to get her away from him or anything like that. They continued to work together despite all of her complaints until it eventually culminated with him killing her. It's a tragic story. Fucking horrifying. And it reminds me of the text messages we just read right there, where a coworker becomes infatuated with someone and then eventually does something disgusting like that. So reading through these text
I
messages,
know
it is a concerning
what must be
individual in a scary situation. And it's something I think about from time to time about how awful it must be to just be doing your job, doing nothing wrong at all, and then still ending up in a situation like this. This girl never made any advances toward this guy. She never even gave him her number or anything at all, and yet somehow he still became obsessed with her and then stalked her company documents to find her phone number and her address and all of that. It's just so awful.
Stim beacon
She's
down.
literally just doing her job and then gets put in a situation with this absolute lunatic.
Reloading.
So yeah, just wanted to talk about it a little bit. I think situations like these should always be taken seriously. Like if a coworker or anyone for that matter starts to get like a level of obsession with you that it becomes a bit palpable, that you can start to see it, it immediately needs to be something that you take very seriously, because you never know where it could lead. And I think that is just always something that needs to be handled with real care. So just wanted to
Last
go over
player
this a little
standing.
bit, but that's really it. It's been a little while since I dropped some hot, steaming, creepy text messages on all of you, and I think we were long overdue for some more, so Coach called me off the bench and I'm about to provide. But something a little different here. The text messages I'm going to show aren't like the standard
one beats my
weirdo,
firepower.
unhinged,
I got
lunatic
this.
type behavior, but I think it's something that a lot of people might be able to learn from. So, to give a little background, the poster here, she mentioned that she had gone on one date with this guy and knew him for like 2 months, and the date didn't go super well. And then we fast forward to this interaction that we're about to cover, and the reason why I think this is a teachable moment is because I feel like this is something maybe a lot of people do without
Through the
realizing
storm,
it's not a good
I
idea.
fight.
And there's actually hints of old Charles in these text messages here.
See ya.
Deep in the flavor profile of these embarrassing texts we're about to go over, I see myself staring me in the mirror when I was but a wee lad, a young man, The very first time I got a girl's number that I was interested in, I was giddy. It felt like I had just won the Super Bowl, and I couldn't stop texting her, even when I wasn't getting responses. Which is
I've
a
got
big
your
sin.
trail.
That is a huge, unforgivable sin. You don't do that because. And sometimes if I didn't receive a response after my like fourth text in a row within a like 20-minute period, I'd just be like, oh man, shucks.
Go plant.
Zoinks, I blew it. And I know I mentioned this before at one point, but sometimes I'd get so like desperate and like begging for a response that I'd send her little ASCII art of stick figures. It's so bad. Actually, I was worse than the guy in the messages.
Last
we're
player
about to cover.
standing.
But his is floating around, and I really think it's important that people realize that that's just not how you should
30
communicate
seconds
with
left.
anyone. Not even just someone that you're interested in, just anybody in general. No one likes to just be pestered. So let's begin. I am believing right now you might be my kryptonite. Need to hang out more, but I'm pretty sure you're my kryptonite. I'm good with anyone, and they will probably be my best friend once they are done. Just what I'm used to. I don't really know what that means, if I'm being honest. What do you mean, she's your kryptonite? It's supposed to be cute and romantic, but I don't really get it. That's kind of like an insult to her. Like, look, you're bad for me. You literally poison me. You make me sick. Is basically what that's saying. It's not really that romantic, but I think he's trying to mean it in like a sweet way. But anyway, she says, sorry I can't talk right now, I just got my son from school, give me a second. Which is totally reasonable. She's giving a response.
You want to play?
letting him know
Let's
that she
play.
can't really properly respond to whatever conversation's trying to be started from this cold open. And he goes, okay, sounds good, enjoy your time with them, please. Cody's about to get home, and then we're gonna go play some skateboard. I'm drinking. And then sends a picture of the beverage. He must have been butt chugging that Miller Lite there, because then things really fly. Feels kind of weird being in Utah Falls. I love it though. Let's have a good time. Can I call you? I miss you already. Sorry to call.
One enemy remaining.
Tried dialing her there and didn't get a response. I don't want to be one of those guys that just be passionate about anything, but in the instance I was passing about you, there's a couple things in society that you go through. I don't know what type of Confucius wisdom he was trying to drop there. There's a whole lot of words in that vomit, and none of it translates to anything in that sentence. I don't know what was even said there. That is a real head scratcher. Where's life and just live, but nothing truly
Last player
meeting up
standing.
and having a good conversation. I
You
like
are
you.
in our way.
I like you a lot. My friends coming from all destinations have a party tonight.
Anyone have any
I hope
spades?
you're there.
I may have
I
jammed
hope
my
you have
fingers.
school, please deem that
Multiple
necessary.
fingers.
Please deem your boy necessary. I love our conversation, but I'm probably the best dude you ever know. Big red flag. Anyone that identifies as a nice guy or the best guy you ever know, hey, probably not gonna be the best guy you ever know. Yeah, I'm not gonna beat around the bush here.
You know
if
what
you're
to
tooting
do.
your own horn, that horn's gonna be stinky most of the time here. With me saying that, I don't know, but you are a princess to me. Sorry to text you so much, as I'm not a texter. Do you need to call me? I'm there. I'm leaving Cheddar's now, about to hang out with one of my friends. He's meeting me here. Finally responds saying, sorry, I have lots of minute. I'm trying to rush through everything as quick as can be.
Enemy spotted.
Again, totally understandable. She has already said that she is busy. So it's probably not a good idea to just fucking flood her phone with all this spaghetti that's fallen out here. So let's break this down. He's clearly very excited. And you gotta love being excited. Being excited is great, but maybe dial it back when you're not getting a
One enemy remaining.
Another conversation than the one you're having with her. There's nothing happening in these messages. You are speaking to yourself. To me,
Match
it seems
point.
like he started panicking when he wasn't
want
getting
their
a response
eternal
in a time period he felt was acceptable, so then just kept sending more and more text messages on top of it, just bombarding her. And then he sent another picture of, I believe, them out and about. Another thing is, I don't think just sending a bunch of pictures is a good idea either when you're not getting responses. That makes it seem very desperate. Just let this sit for a bit. Just let it ruminate. Let her marinate
Get
on
out
this
of my
and get
way.
back to you
beacon
when
down.
she's not busy. You don't need to keep sending these text messages, which is a lesson that I and many others have learned. You don't want to just keep texting endlessly if you're not getting responses. There's this unspoken rule, I suppose, about, you know, double texting or
Come on, let's go!
forbidden jutsu of a triple text. Of course, it's mainly a meme, but there is some real logic behind it. If you're texting with someone and they're not really responding, it's not really a good idea to just keep pressing that. Either they're not interested, which is fine, it happens, or they're busy. And in either one of these cases, sending more text messages is only going to serve to make things much more uncomfortable and worse all around.
One
Girl,
enemy
you,
remaining.
That's all that I
one
want,
shot.
but I do want to see you. And then sends this creep shot of just two women at the bar they're at, two older women. And then he goes, so Cody and I are about to take these ladies home, laughing.
Attackers
I
win.
swear to God, two old ladies about to take us home. I want to see you. You in class? This is just really weird. Like, this is bizarre. Where is this coming from? Why are you taking a photo of just two random ladies claiming they're trying to take you home or something? Shit's getting a little loopy here, and it's still not hitting. She's still not responding because, again, she has already explained she has class. She is busy here. Now, the way he's texting makes me feel like he's drunk at the very least, because it's